So Inov8 have come to this road shoe from their natural heritage of trail shoes. So they've taken some of the features from the trail shoes and stripped them back and just kept what is needed for a road shoe. It's a fairly firm ride, so when you're running it is very responsive. It's not a super soft squidgy shoe with a high stack. The stack is 27mm on the heel and 21mm on the forefoot. That is including the footbed. So the footbed we'll go into as we go along in the video. So firm ride, nice and responsive when you're running, but it still feels cushioned as well. That is, a lot of that is down to the boomerang footbed that's inside. There is cushioning in the midsole. They're using a PowerFlow Pro is what they call it, which is an EVA midsole. They've used PF, which stands for PowerFlow Pro midsole in many of their trail shoes over the years. Works really well. I've used it on loads of different shoes. I like it. Fairly light shoe. It is weighing in at, this is UK 11. And this, with a few bits of grubbiness, a few bits of dirt on there, comes in at 296 grams, so sub 300 grams, which is always nice when a shoe is less than 300 grams. That's good. You can get lighter weight road shoes out there. I don't do many road shoe reviews at all because, as I say, I'm a trail runner. But I like the fact that they're coming at this from the trail background, because they've got the rubber all the way across the bottom of the outsole here. So they're not skipping bits anywhere. So this gives it extra traction on uneven surfaces. So I've ran in all sorts of conditions. I've ran on the road, I've done park runs, I've used them in the treadmill, but living up here in the north of Scotland, you get some pretty sketchy conditions. So I've been out in when it's been slippy, icy, and just wet conditions. So a good mixed bag. And the roads up here, I dare say they are most places. You've got potholes, they're uneven, they're all over the place. So having the grip all the way over the outsole there with the 2mm lug depth on the rubber, touching on the rubber, it's not graphene like they use in lots of their trail shoes. It's just a standard rubber. I'm sure they're going to say it's more than a standard rubber, but it's not graphene. But it's lasted really well. There's hardly any use on that at all after 150k. So it's wearing really well. They've got this section here, which is called the Metaflex. So that just gives the shoe a bit of flex. So it stops it being a totally rigid sole. So it helps propel you forward, helps push you forward as you're making your next stride. Let's see, we've done the outsole, the midsole, the upper. Let's have a look at the upper. Upper is an engineered mesh upper, and it has some overlays in the areas that it needs it. So these black bits here, that's what they call overlays, and that just gives it a bit more structure. Touching on the heel, around the heel counter here, it is padded. It's not massively padded, but there is padding on there. And the heel counter itself has held my foot really nicely. So absolutely no need for me to use the extra holes just on here to do the runner's knot. It's got really good foothold. Foothold again comes from the midfoot when you actually lace up the shoe. The laces grip down really nicely over my midfoot anyway, and it's held my foot in place nicely. One of the big things about this particular shoe is the anatomical shape. So you can see just along here, it lets your feet spread out nicely. So this is coming again from most of the trail shoes that Inov8 brought out the past year. They've gone for an anatomical foot shape. You're not squeezing your foot into something long and narrow. This is the standard fit. It does come in a wide fit, so anyone out there who does have hobbit feet, you can get something that's even wider. I've got what I would call standard width feet. There's plenty of room in there for my feet to spread out. as I'm pushing off, it's not felt restricted, but it's also not felt too roomy. So a standard fit for me has been absolutely perfect. I've not had to lace it up super tight to keep my foot in place. On the tongue here, just looking at the tongue, cushioned tongue. So there is some cushioning in there. It's got this little central bit. When you lace it up, it stops the tongue falling side to side. Most shoes have that. The tongue itself is gusseted as well, just to help keep it in place. What else we got on the upper here? This section just around here, that's reinforced. So in case you do stub your toe at anything, you're not going to bang your toes. So there is some reinforcement along there. Also on the top here, you've got some reflective points, and you've got those dotted about. You've got a couple of reflective bits at the top here and at the back just over here as well, which is always nice to have some reflection on there when you're running on the roads. If it's dark at night, at least if any light shine on it, you are going to be seen. So yeah, so it's a fairly low profile shoe. It's not a big, heavily stacked shoe with tons of cushioning. There is cushioning in there, as I mentioned earlier. Some of that does come from the Boomerang footbed. That's the Boomerang footbed just there. And just on the back, you see those little dimples, nodules, whatever they call them. They are super cushioned. So that is about 6 mil in thickness, but it's very cushioned. So because it's low to the ground without a big stack, it's a nice feely shoe. So I can feel what I'm running on. You can be nice and responsive with it and react to the terrain you're running on. Coming from a trail point of view, normally I'm used to much deeper lugs, but these 2 mil lugs have been absolutely fine. It's gripped nicely on the roads, and I've just had nice connection when I've been running with it. Price is amazing. So it's 100 quid, £100 for a shoe, road shoe. I don't know. As I say, I don't really have many road shoes. All my trail shoes, they cost way more than £100. So £100 for a road shoe, I think, is amazing. Comes in under 300 grams, which is nice and light in my eyes. I know you can get lighter shoes out there, but I think they would sacrifice ever so slightly on the grip on more uneven road terrain, if that makes sense. I dare say if you're after something that is incredibly light with a plate in it with extra cushioning that's going to push you forward super quick, get incredibly quick times, that's not really the shoe. This is more of an older fashioned kind of road shoe. I do remember having their old road shoes from a good number of years ago. Can't remember the name of them. I think they were the Road Claw maybe. I can't remember. Could be wrong. But these are a million times better. This is a much nicer shoe. For £100, I'd definitely get a pair of these for your shoe rotation. Been great on park runs. I've been doing trying to do the A to Z park runs at the moment, so I've been using these on some of those runs. Absolutely coped fine when you've been venturing off the path ever so slightly into the grassy bits when you're trying to overtake a few folk. Yeah, worked really well. I'm going to be doing the Liverpool half marathon in March, and I will be wearing this shoe. It's alive. Okay, thanks for watching. If you did find this useful, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you would like to. That would be really appreciated. Okay, thanks now.